I was sitting here for like 10 minutes trying to make an intro about something about heaven and blooming and flowers, but I just couldn't come up with anything. So we're doing it. We're doing it live. What's up, everyone? It's your boy, Matt Diazable, coming at you with a new music review. Always, thank you. I appreciate you for commenting, subscribing, liking, all that. So you're the best. Today, I'm checking out a band, or two bands actually. They did a collab EP, and the bands are Invent, Animate, and Silent Planet with their latest EP called Heaven in Bloom. I'm sure if you're into the metalcore, djent genre of music, you probably heard of these bands, but if not, Invent Animate is a like djent metalcore prog metal band that's been around since 2011. And I just now discovered that they are from Texas, where I'm from. Shows how much I know about this band. Essentially, this is my first time ever really listening to the band. I've always heard of their name, but for some reason, I just never really personally wanted to listen to them. But as a reviewer, I'm all about listening to stuff that normally I wouldn't. Silent Planet, on the other hand, is a band I've reviewed before, and they're from California, Los Angeles, if I'm correct. They've been a band since about like 2009, and they're in the similar like djent metalcore, very ambient, very, I would say, not avant-garde, but they're trying to be very, very more than just metalcore. They try to be quite special, I guess you could say. I not recently, but I reviewed their album from 2023. I think it's called Heavy Gloom or Super Bloom or something like that. And I remember I was very like, I kind of see why I didn't listen to them, and I kind of see why people do like them, but it was just kind of like, all right, what I was hearing. So I'm really excited to see what these two bands have done together in this collab EP. And with this split between these two bands, it doesn't feel like a traditional just EP/split or like, hey, let's just make some music and put it out there. It feels more like a shared artist statement. And across these three songs, the bands are able to explore a range of, emotional and sonic textures, balancing aggression with atmosphere, technicality with melody. And really, I'm really surprised by this while sounding quite unified. And the opening track here, Return to One, is, a straightforward, tightly wound, djent leaning riff style song with a lot of stuttering rhythms that kind of remind me of Meshuggah, but with like a little bit more melodic feel to it and less abrasive sounds like Meshuggah would have. The heaviness here is always sharp, but never really chaotic. There's a precision in the guitar work here and a really good clarity in the mix that keeps the sound sounding really, I want to say, clean despite being quite dense. The drums are especially locked in on this track, driving the song forward with really punchy and very catchy and dynamic patterns that give, a lot of complexity to the song while also having a sense of direction. And as the track progresses, the intensity gives way to some really unexpectedly groovy sections that showcase that the band's collaborative feels here are quite good because they can create some very infectious rhythms and some dynamic shifts. And then you have some clean vocals over some very distorted riffs that create a very satisfying contrast that sets the tone for pretty much the whole EP. So I want to play a small track or a small bit of this song so you get a sense of just the heavy density they have with this opening song. So dense. All the Light Is Gone kind of shifts gears into more introspective territory, providing a very necessary and welcome contrast to the opener's intensity. Slower and more sensual in its approach, the song feels very grand in its scale, almost quite like cinematic, with some very rich ambient textures and some really emotional vocal deliveries. There's a patience in its pacing on this track. The buildup is quite deliberate, so when you get to that climax, it feels genuinely rewarding. This track is like echoing bands similar to Sleep Token here, especially in terms of the atmospheric layering and the sense of emotional vulnerability. So I want to play a clip of this song so you get a sense of just like how contrastingly different the songs are here. The opening song very heavy. This one's a little bit more lighter and just, showing a bit more range in terms of their emotion. It's a good contrast. And the EP closes with the song Armageddon Eyes that brings back that heaviness from the earlier song, but it does it in a way where it has a lot of depth and polish to it, similar to the second song where they're like merging both those songs and you get this song Armageddon Eyes. The riffs still sound very weighted and very smooth, but they've added some synths and keys to the background of everything to really enrich the soundscape of the song without really overwhelming it. Clean vocals once again play a very central role to the song, elevating the song's emotional impact. And the interplay between, very aggressive instrumentals and melodic elements just feel very effortlessly done. Clean vocals once again play a very central role to the song, elevating the song's emotional impact. So here's a clip of Armageddon Eyes. Pretty impressive. And it's kind of clear what makes Heaven and Bloom a very interesting and very seamless effort here. Animate and Silent Planet have done a really good job of blending their sounds into 3 little short songs. And even though it's technically a split EP, it's really hard to really draw the line where one band ends and another one begins in the best possible way. They blend their styles so perfectly here. They've done a really good job of meshing their styles together where it feels very intentional and cohesive. And I would say this EP doesn't just really highlight just like each band's strengths here. It does a really good job of amplifying them through collaboration. And I feel like this release, Heaven and Blue, is not, really a side project or a novelty release. It's a very powerful and focused work that captures both bands at possibly some of their most creative high points in their career. Through heavy riffs, ethereal melodies, and thoughtful songwriting, Animate and Silent Planet have really shown what it is like to make a very collaborative effort. It's an effort here to show that, metalcore can be elevated into something truly moving. It may be brief, but it leaves a very lasting impression on you for sure, these 3 little tracks. So this new split from Animate and Silent Planet, I would have to give it a good and solid 8 out of 10. Links down below. Tell me what you think about this album. Give me some other recommendations. And like always, thank you and see you in the pit.